Well, what have I got for you today, you might wonder? Well, it's going to be a bit of an odd bag because I've been cleaning out some of the stuff in my house. And what I've found is some old stuff from some long since passed away relatives of mine. Stuff that they've been keeping and holding boxes that were in this house long before I got here, or rather long before I took up residence. And some of it's quite interesting, really, because it is like stepping back in time, quite drastically in some cases. For example, folding opera glass. Again, not much else to report in the box. It's actually held up quite nicely over the decades, because this is actually quite an old thing. This is something you might see in some old movies. It looks sort of 40s, 50ish, or possibly even early in design. There's nothing on the box to say when it came from. There is something... I keep knocking the light for some reason. There is, you can see vaguely inside here, a picture of the actual glasses themselves opened up, and there's some writing which is, from the looks of it, combinations of numbers and letters. Some are still readable, but that looks as if though it's... Right, this looks like it's actually been the instruction manual that's been pressed against the actual cover, and it's just sort of superimposed the writing a little bit, because that says 5.2, but I think it's supposed to say 2 times 2.5 maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that looks like open but backwards, but it also looks like OP3, 4, or possibly an H. That could be a 3, it could be a backwards E, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'm going to put that down and just pretend that's never actually happened. What else have we got in here? Not much, to be honest. Some sort of protective... Yep, some sort of protective padding here just to give it a little bit of protection. Field glass. So it looks a bit like, in some regards, a cigarette case, but... Instead, you just press that and... Oh! The king! The king! It says the king! It's the king's glasses! And when I hold it like this, it looks a bit like I'm holding up the head of Johnny Five. Johnny Five was a king? Who knew? Well, I suppose the only way I can really test this is by looking through, but it looks quite nice and stylish, really. How do you actually close it? Alright, okay. So you close it by pressing it in like that, and hoping you don't take your thumb off. So I'll just open that up again. Huzzah! Let's take a look. My God, they really do a good job. You can't increase the magnification at all, but you can make it more in focus by twiddling with this dial. So the magnification is set, so it must be designed ever so specifically for use in the theatre. And by the theatre, I mean a proper stage. But yeah, the images have held up quite nicely. You can see there's a bit here to prevent things from interfering with your field of vision, but of course the camera doesn't want to focus on that properly right now. Oh dear. Let's just see, maybe if I press this. Dum-de-da-dum. There we go. And the focus has gone as soon as I've moved it around. Well, it's always a bit experimental, this reviewing log. Sometimes you've just got to move things around a little before it actually settles. Let's just see, if I hold it here like this for a little while, if I move it back, there we go. So that bit there basically protects your vision from any obstructions. Effectively, it's like a pair of blinkers, I suppose. Well, that's one item. Can you just move it like that? No, it sort of sticks, so you've got to put your finger in like that to push it back into place so it can close. Well, that's it, back in its box and off to one side to be forgotten about for who knows how long. I've got a couple of other things to look at. Again, just to show how design changes, we have this new magic brush. Number 7330. 7330? 730? 730. Oh, I have got to stop doing these things before going to bed. And it's made in Hong Kong. And it repeats itself that it's the new magic brush. So here you can see some man from the 70s, because it definitely looks like it's the 70s, brushing himself down. Somebody doing something to what looks like a skirt. I hope that's not actually being worn. And then again, something else being brushed that you can't really make out. For all purposes, so this presumably... Oh yes, it's something you can use to brush clothing with. Let's just see. Are you going to be able to see me brush my jacket properly here? Well, maybe a little bit. You can see it does sort of pick things up a bit. It's actually got quite a nice feel to it, to be honest. I don't know if this has ever actually been used. And you've got this... Ah, it's that direction button. Okay, so you basically put your arm down, so I'm putting my left arm down, and I'm holding it with my right arm, and I'm brushing this way. So, if you follow these instructions to the letter, you should have one arm that is perfectly clean, and then another arm that you can't clean at all because you're using the wrong arm. It does kind of work. I wonder if you can do it the other way anyhow. No. Right. Okay. What happens when you make it go that way? It's actually a much smoother sensation, but whereas when it goes that way, it's like nails down a chalkboard. So you've got to do it. Is there any way to move this around for... No, you can't actually change it. It's not actually something... Maybe the next model actually allowed you to change it, but if I tried doing that, I'm actually going to end up breaking it. So presumably, if you want to use this, you've got to take your clothes off. You can't do what he's doing with your left hand. You have to take your clothes off to use it with your right hand exclusively and move it in that upwards direction. That's what that arrow is for. That's actually not a bad idea. But something on a similar vein, if I can keep my hands from dropping things, is this Genie registered design for all fabrics and upholstery. Try that again. We have Genie registered design for all fabrics and upholstery by Betterware. No, I've never heard of them either. Awarded the Blue Seal Certificate of Hygiene and Public Health in respect of brushes, mops and polishes. And then the same thing just gets repeated here. And Genie coming out of a lamp. Yeah, you know what they're trying to make you think. Let's just see, it says made and sold only by Betterware Products Limited, Romford, Essex. So let's just see. Nothing actually on the side to help keep it in place. That's probably because bits have been lost. And we have what looks like and feels a bit like wire wool, and still has some bits still on from previous uses, some previous fluff. But let's just see if I can get a good angle. Working your way around a camera to do stuff like this. The perils of being a one-man show. You know, I think it actually does a decent enough job. It's just my horrible positioning means I can't actually demonstrate it properly for you. Too bad I want to see behind the camera, not really in front of it. But there you go. Yes, that does work quite nicely, I think. I might actually have to make use of this myself, and, you know, it does seem to actually work. So if you can't find something like this in the shops nowadays, and I doubt you can find exactly this product, but you'll probably find something vaguely similar, give it a go, it might actually work. Of course, any alternative product by today's standards will probably be absolutely inundated with things like antibacterial reinforced fibres and stuff. All of which just means that we'll end up with germs that can resist any kind of combative medicine that we can come up with, and of course ultimately kill us all. But I do think that's been an interesting little showcase, and I'll have to have a rummage through this stuff at some other time. Thanks for watching. Doodle pip.